Nope. Hey, what's going on, guys? We are back with None Given Podcast. It's me, Sean, and I'm joined as ever by Mika. Say what's up, Meeks.
Hi.
And today we have a special guest. Special guest. Our first guest. Yeah. So I am going to let our guest, I don't know where she's going to be in the edit, but I'm going to point.
It's the opposite way, but it's fine.
Let our guest introduce herself.
Hello.
And tell her a little bit about yourself. Go.
Yes, I'm Shannon Parrot. I'm a second generation tattoo artist. I started tattooing when I was 18 and I'm now 24. So I've been probably professionally doing it for 4 years, but been in the game in that for 6.
In the game.
And yeah, in the game. But to be fair, I was like, I've grown up in a tattoo studio because my dad, obviously. So I've been like scrubbing tubes from an early age. So I've been around it.
How long ago did your dad start?
So my dad started, I think, literally maybe a couple of years after I was born. So I know he's been doing it for like over 20 years now. So long old time. He's been in it for a really long time. But yeah, it's kind of just all I've known is tattoos and that, but I love it. And it's just a privilege to do it every day. But yeah, we've got a shop called Blind Faith Tattoo Collective in Worthing. And yeah.
We'll tag it all up, guys. We'll tag everything. So make sure you hit the description, go in, follow Shannon's page, which is
Shannon Lee Lithia. But yeah, it's a bit of a weird one to say. It's probably best to just click the link.
Follow the shop. Make sure you do, because I personally have work done by Shannon, and I know many other people have, and she's fucking sick.
Oh, stop. You're going to make me blush.
But seriously, and the shop is super cool. Everyone in there is great people. Like Shannon said, her dad works in there. He's OG as fuck.
Yeah, he is.
Like as fuck.
Yeah.
And there's some other great artists in there too. So
yeah, we've got a real like diverse thing going on. Everyone does everything a bit different in there. So yeah, it's all good. It's like a little family.
Yeah, and you guys are nice and relaxed, which is nice for a tattoo studio or shop.
That's what you got to be.
Yeah, but some aren't though. You know,
no.
I think some aren't. Some are super stuffy, but
some super stuffy, super intimidating, I think, as well sometimes. So it's nice to be welcoming and just be chilled. It's meant to be a fun time, you know.
Well, exactly, and hopefully we'll get a bit more into that in a bit. Right, so let's move into talking a bit about why we got you on the show, Shannon, and obviously in the last few weeks, we did a show. Is it a show now? Is that what I'm saying?
Show. Yeah, it's a show. Fuck it, it's a show.
We did an episode based on, I would just say the civil rights movement that's going on at the moment. I don't want to say any names or anything like that. Black Lives Matter is the crutch of it, okay? And that has kind of thrown up a lot of weird things in a lot of industries. And as you said earlier, someone that you saw this week has put up some things that maybe in your industry people need to listen to and people need to know about.
Yeah, definitely.
So tattooing people of colour, is the industry scared to do that?
I definitely think the majority of artists are scared to tattoo people of colour because it's kind of been taught in-house that it's harder to do. And it's not, you know, it's just different. But in my experience of tattooing, I find that any person that walks through the door, no matter what like melanin they have in their fucking skin, it's all different. It could be about hydration, if they were drinking the night before, all stuff like that. It doesn't necessarily have to be about the, you know, shade of skin or tone of skin or anything like that. But I believe it's down to the research of the artists to know the differences, and you should as an artist be equipped to tattoo any sort of skin, whether it be a person of colour or, you know, an 80-year-old woman that's come in and wants a little fucking symbol or something. Do you know what I mean? Like, you should be equipped to kind of do everything really. But it is down to the individual. I think it's definitely, you know, I've had tattoo appointments where, you know, the skin has been harder to tattoo on a white person than it has been, you know, a person of colour. It's just, everyone is different, and I don't think it is down to, you know, the colour of skin, because you should know the differences and what you have to do, you know. But I do think
you can tell somebody was drunk the night before when they're getting a tattoo.
Absolutely. It's the one thing. Yep.
See, Meek's scared now. She's like, I'm never getting tattooed again.
Yeah, no, definitely. Like straight away, and like because the blood kind of gets really thin when you've kind of drunk the night before, because alcohol does thin your blood. So yeah, if they sit down,
Oh.
go for it, and then it starts to weep, and I'm like, you've been drinking the night before, and they're like, oh no, and then an hour goes by, and I'm like, you drinking the night before, and they're like, yeah, I've had a couple of beers,
The thing is, what I don't understand, right, is I've been tattooed like a bunch of times. Getting tattooed with a hangover would be the worst fucking experience.
Oh my fucking god!
Time.
It's just horrendous. I have to really pick my times when I get tattooed, because I don't even drink, but even still, I'm like picky about it. I've got to be like healthy as ever, because you don't want to be sitting there feeling groggy and all like, it hurts anyway. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
it's not fucking great. It's just
No,
but yeah, you can definitely tell a lot of different things about people by their skin. Like you think builders, they've got like calluses everywhere, or you know what I mean. Like everyone's skin is different, because people could have skin conditions as well. It's just everyone's a bit different, really. But it doesn't necessarily come down to the tone. There are obviously differences, but I think if you're an artist, you should be equipped to do everything. And everyone's still learning, so.
That's true.
Got to keep going.
That's very.
Keep knowing the differences.
Why do you think? Oh no, go, Meek. No, Meek, you go.
I may be the most naive person in the world, but I've never thought about my skin tone getting a tattoo.
That's good.
How weird is that?
But I think that's a good thing, because I think so many people do think that like certain types of tattoos, or like color tattoos, that people with dark skin can't get, and it's not the case. It's just a matter of finding the complementary tones to that skin. It's just about working around. And I think so many people like people of color go into tattoo studios and they want a certain type of tattoo, and the artist is like tries to scapegoat out of it and be like, oh, this won't work, this won't work, this won't work, and they focus on what won't work, and they should really direct it to what will work, rather than making someone feel bad about not being able to. Do you know what I mean? I've spoken to a few people, and they've had experiences where they felt bad about their skin and that they can't get a tattoo that they want, when it's not the case at all.
Yeah.
Do you think, Meek, that comes from like you never thought of it because obviously you grew up in Miami?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And maybe where you were getting tattooed, and that you don't think about it, but maybe is it different over here?
It might be. I've never actually been in a tattoo shop here, so I'm not sure of the full vibe of it and how it would be. I mean,
that's so different.
Is it?
Like diverse from each other, like no two shops are the same, I would say.
And American shops are so different to English shops.
Mm-hmm.
I think they're all the same. I feel like every tattoo shop in America is the same. I don't feel like they're diverse at all. Yeah, maybe because, well, no, I don't know. I can't remember my first tattoo, who did it. But I want to say they might have been a person of color.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe I didn't even think about it. I don't know. And then like I've had piercings too, where I know this is different, but when you go into the shop, still it's all at the same place, and I've never felt uncomfortable or that I shouldn't go there, which is I'm for that. But do you think that people here feel that way kind of when they go into a tattoo shop, like right away?
Yeah, I definitely think so. I mean, like a handful of my clients that have come in, they've gone to other studios and kind of felt like they're kind of getting pushed to go somewhere else because someone can't be bothered to have to do what they want. And like I definitely feel like some people feel intimidated by going into like maybe like white dominated shops, and I can empathize with them as to like I could see why they feel intimidated, because I've seen it firsthand with other artists when they're just trying to wiggle out of not doing a service, and that's what we're there to do. We're here to give a service and make you feel good. And when I get tattooed, it's like a confidence booster for me, and I feel like everyone should have that. And I think going into something that's meant to be really fun and exciting, and then leaving thinking, oh, they just couldn't be bothered to do it. You know what I mean? It's just like, it's a weird one.
Why do you think though that? Why are some people in the industry scared to tattoo black skin or people of color? Is it?
I just don't think they have the knowledge.
Simple as that. You just don't think they.
And I think that's basically it. Because I think, unless I was lucky and lucky enough that I've been taught in quite a culturally diverse shop. Like we have like loads of different clients come from all around the world, sort of thing. So I just don't really think anything of it. But yeah, I definitely think shops in Worthing, because it's not really a culturally diverse place. Like you don't really get a lot of people of color come in the shop. Like I have like a handful, you know, but then again, it's not for people of color to go out and look for artists, because artists should promote that they do that. And I don't know why they don't, sort of thing.
Yeah.
Because there is a stigma around it that some things aren't possible on dark skin, and it's just not the case, I don't think, anyway. But
yeah, it's interesting. It's a funny one that, like, I know that some shops I've been in, and historically, like going back, there's definitely some shops that I've been in and I've thought, this might not be the. I've been in with black friends, right? So through doing the basketball and stuff like that, a lot of people come over and said they've seen that I'm tattooed and they've wanted to go into shops and then go and get tattooed. And, you know, they've always wanted to get it, unfortunately, the cheapest way that they can. So we've been into a certain shop in Worthing. I'm not going to talk about what shop it was. I'm sure you can guess what one it was. But
a shop.
Yeah. And I walked in there and immediately thought, this isn't the right environment for my friend to be in.
Yeah.
Because the kind of work they do and the kind of people that they are, it didn't feel comfortable, and you could immediately see them sort of like, oh, here we go, to do this now. And it's a shame. And
it is a shame. It's totally a shame, because everyone deserves nice tattoos. Do you know what I mean? It's not like you shouldn't have to feel like you can't get what you want, you know, and especially feel like you're not meant to be somewhere as well. That's always a horrible feeling. You just don't want that for anyone.
Yeah. So for some people out there that might be listening, like what is, because there obviously are differences to tattooing. What are they? Because
I've got little notes here.
I think that would be good for people to know, especially people if you aren't tattooed and you're thinking about doing it and you happen to be a person of color, or you happen to be someone that has particularly sensitive skin, or you have a skin condition. It's good to know what these things are. So
in specifically with people of color, so there's like a stigma around that the keloid scarring can happen really easily. But how this happens, and this is how to avoid this happening, because I think people overcompensate because it's dark skin that they have to hammer a tattoo in, and that's really not the case. I work pretty gently, so it's not really any different for me, but like the procedure of a tattoo with dark skin and how it's different to light is that I kind of drop my needle in, so it doesn't just work slow, so this keloid scarring doesn't happen. But it's not really down to the skin color that makes the scarring. It's because of artists overcompensating for thinking that they have to hammer it in when that's not the case. Also with color tattoos, how you do them differently, because obviously with white skin you kind of just go in with the shade and that's it, you know. Obviously everyone has different shades and they all come out differently, but with white skin it's predominantly the same. But yeah, with dark skin, you have to find colors that are kind of complementary to the skin tone, so that comes down to your research too, and color theory, which I think every kind of artist should take time out of their day to know this. And ways of practicing is to like color on dark paper, because obviously to white paper to skin, again, the match isn't the same, so it's never going to come out the same. So you want something realistic that you can show someone like it's going to look like this. But yeah, another way is to like kind of put white into the ink too, so it shows up. So these are all like little tips and tricks that artists can just kind of research. There's loads of pages out there on Instagram and just on the web that people should kind of take even 10 minutes out of your day just to know the differences, because you do have to treat dark skin with a little bit of TLC. But yeah, in the way that I work, there isn't many differences, but I know that just work a little bit slower, a little bit more gently. You know, you don't have to hammer it in, because that's just not the way that you tattoo anyway. You don't do that, because that's the only way how scarring works. And this is a myth that all all dark skin keloids and you can't get tattooed, because that's not the case. It's actually down to the application of the tattoo. But yeah.
I feel like whenever I go into a tattoo shop and I'm looking at, like, I guess, I don't know what you would call it. What's the wall where there's like
a flash wall?
Flash wall.
Yeah.
Yes.
That. Whenever I'm looking at that wall, but see, I don't know if it's like that here as it is in America, but in America, usually it's a picture on someone. And I've never seen like, yeah, they're all white. All the tattoos are on white people, I think. Is it more diverse here? Do artists showcase different skin tones in there?
I don't think they do, because unfortunately in the kind of world of social media and Instagram, this is how people like to showcase their work nowadays. It's all about an aesthetic. And that really, really annoys me, because there's even been cases where like people of color going in and getting tattooed and then they're having their like pictures whitewashed, or not even or not even put onto the page because it doesn't fit with the aesthetic. And I think that's just shit. I think that's so shit, because then that person can leave and then think, oh, was my tattoo not good? Is this why it's not getting posted? Is it because my skin's not the right color for their page? Do you know what I mean? It's just fucking wild. And I don't understand, because to me, if tattooing black skin is hard, and one of my friends was saying this to me the other day, she made a really good point. If tattooing black skin is hard, wouldn't it be such a flex to put that online that you could do that?
Yeah 100%.
Yeah, wouldn't you want to be like the best at tattooing dark skin?
Yeah,
exactly. You should showcase that everywhere. If it's meant to be something that's actually really hard, then if you can do it, flaunt it. Why aren't you? This whole like age of Instagram aesthetic is just shit. And I'm not one of these people that's got thousands and thousands of followers on Instagram, because it's not everything to me. You know, it's just it's my work is everything to me, and like making sure people have a good time and a comfortable time and they feel welcome and they leave with a nice tattoo that they love. That's what it's about. It's not about going online and being like, oh, look at this that I've done today and it fits with my aesthetic. You know, it's just it's like this cool kid phase. I can't deal with it. I'm just not about that life. I just like making art and making people happy and confident, and that's what it's about for me.
And I mean, it's good, isn't it? I mean, you realise that, I mean, because we spoke about it before, that you realise it's a tool that you need to have, and because you know how artists used to get famous was just traveling around the world and being places and doing stuff. Now you have that platform that means you don't have to do that. You can kind of get interest from people all over the world. But I mean, I know so many, I'd love to name names, but I'm not going to. I know so many bad tattooists that have, excuse me, like 50,000 people on Instagram plus. But they suck. Because
I fucking know.
Because it's all about the aesthetic. And I mean, this is something we talked about before on other episodes, is Instagram culture. And it's interesting how it affects an industry that is supposed to be underground or whatever. Do you know what I mean? Tattooing is quite well, now it's very mainstream now, but it's still considered as a bit of a niche industry.
A taboo thing.
Yeah. So it's interesting how it's even affected things like that. You know, it's crazy. It's one thing I did want to talk about quickly before we move on to the next point is I know it's a big bane of contention with artists, scratchers. And now, if people don't know what a scratcher is, you might be able to enlighten them a little bit.
A kitchen wizard, or a kitchen cowboy. We like to call them.
Nika's like, huh?
Come again?
A kitchen magician or wizard. There's loads of terms for this. Basically, a scratcher is someone who basically doesn't know how the fuck to tattoo and likes to tattoo at home and earn money and just spread horrible diseases everywhere with their unsanitary space. They're one of those people that you see like online and they're like tattooing in their fucking front room, like on their sofa with no gloves on, like
no shirt on.
Or no. Makes me feel so weird.
I mean, I've had I'll admit it. Me and you both have, Mika. We've had tattoos, hand pokes done by a friend of ours who's a hand poke artist who came to our Mika's house and he tattooed us, but they're very small tattoos, and he was very hygienic and very clean. He gloved up.
Yeah.
It's still not how you should be getting your tattoos, and I wouldn't advise anyone that's going for their first tattoo ever to go and get something like that.
Yeah. But to be fair, I'm not going to say there are okay ones out there, because it's never okay to do it, only because it's super disrespectful for people that have like worked to get their apprenticeships and worked to get where they are. That's, I think, what gets me about scratches is that it's like, why do you think that you can just fast track and you're a tattooist? Do you know what I mean? Like, it doesn't work that way. Apprenticeships are really hard.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, like, there are some of them out there that are self-taught, and yeah, fuck it, they're good. But if you're good, then get your ass registered and get yourself in a shop in a professional environment, you know?
And sure, you can make more money doing that, right?
Yeah. I mean,
I know what you guys charge. Do you know what I mean? I know that you do you know what I mean? So if that was me, I'd be like, well, if I can get into a shop and charge triple this, that's the end goal. Maybe. I don't know.
Well, yeah, you're not going to charge, like, you know, I'll give you £200 an hour to sit in your shed and fucking dig my skin out.
But, like, do you think for people of colour that they maybe are pushed towards doing that because there's no one that caters for them in shops?
Absolutely. No, I totally get that, because like you said, and like we were talking about earlier, on Instagram, no one showcases that they do it. So if like you don't see or don't have any information online that it can even be possible, or who to go to, because there are artists out there that just specialize in just that, you know, but they're quite hard to find, you know, like things you've got to really dig in deep. But yeah, I think if everyone kind of just showcase it, then there's more of an option, you know. I don't think it's for, you know, people of color to have to research, because it should just be there. And then, you know, then it's more of everyone should have really more of a diverse portfolio, I think, because then it would prevent bad tattoos from happening.
So it interesting me, because like some of the guys that I know, that you know as well, that have sort of come over from the States, it's not unheard of for people to get tattoos done in a situation like that in someone's front room. Well, this is like speaking
in America. Sorry.
Like,
I don't know anyone that hasn't gone to a shop.
Well, maybe it's just the guys that have come over here, and from the situations maybe that they're in, you know. And I know that, again, as someone that we both know came over a couple of years ago, and he was like, oh no, I just get my bro to do it in the front room. And I was a bit kind of like, oh shit, like,
you need to tell me this person after this is done. Who is this?
You know them very well. Very well.
In the front room. See, I don't think that's a color problem or issue. I think that's a financial issue. That's a financial issue is all that is.
Yeah.
Because in America, the tattoo shops are pretty diverse. It's usually, I know this is about to be a big stereotype, but it's usually some person of color that's not a white person in most of the shops in Miami. I know a lot of Spanish-owned tattoo shops.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like, I think I've been to one white shop. Oh, sorry, two. One drunk night. I got the one behind my ear. I've been to like 2 shops, but I don't know. I think that's a financial issue that they've gone to his brother in the front row.
That's like that. To be fair, there's a lot of people like that here with financial issue about it too. You know what I mean? Like, but what I was always taught is good tattoos aren't cheap and cheap tattoos aren't good. You know?
I believe that. Yeah.
Anything good in life, unfortunately, costs money.
Yeah.
And if you have to wait 6 more months to get the piece of your dreams, please do it.
Exactly. And you know what? If you talk to artists, that usually they're pretty good. I mean, like, if someone comes to me and they're like, "Look, I have a set budget of this," cool. Do you know what I mean? You just go along with it.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, I'm just kind of happy that they want my art on them. So you kind of try and play both sides and be good. You know what I mean? Like, if someone like really wants to tattoo, and you just kind of like, maybe it's just me. I'm a bit of a softie though. I'm like, okay, it's fine.
But on the other hand, anyone that listening, don't go in and try and lowball your artist, because it's
and plus you have to deal with Lisa. It's not even me. So, and Lisa is a fucking
you don't want to do
hard
that.
Nut. Yeah.
But I mean, that's all. It's interesting because it's a industry and and something that's quite dear to me, and it's something that I love. And I never really thought about the issues of there being with people of color, because a lot of the black guys, especially that I see with tattoos, happen to be basketball players, and a lot of them probably are high level basketball players who are covered in work by incredible artists. You know, I mean, that they've spent hundreds of thousands of dollars on. So I've never really thought of it being a thing, but now I think back, yeah, it's a funny one. It's
absolutely. Like, even go back into like history, it was like, I think probably right back in the day, it was probably quite a racist culture with like white people, because you think like around that sort of like era where it was kind of like sailory kind of wartime. Do you know what I mean? So I can imagine that it was, but it's not okay now.
And there's
regardless.
Yeah, like heavily tattooed people and people that aren't necessarily familiar with the industry, or there's a stigma behind it. Like I'm quite a big person, and I'm fairly heavily tattooed. People for all my entire life have just assumed that I'm in Combat 18 or I'm racist or something like that. I don't know why, but they just do.
Yeah, no, I get you.
And it is unfortunately one of those industries that is inked to that. But my experience with it is so different. Like, but is that because I've made an effort for it to be that way? Do you know?
Yeah,
probably. Yeah,
I get you.
Yeah. So let's move on to our next point. As I just said, I'm a bigger person. Tattooing. Now I'm going to use the term. We did an episode about this as well. The term plus size. It's bullshit. Whatever. But how is that different? Is it different? Are there things that you need to be more aware of if you are a plus size person?
Plus size. Again, like the actual tattooing, I haven't found anything that's kind of different about it. Again, all skin's different. The only thing I do find different is that when a plus size person comes in, they're super self-conscious straight away, and they always say sorry a lot. Like if it's like I've got to like tattoo a thigh, and they're like, oh, my big thigh, oh sorry, blah blah blah, it's not good. And, do you know what I mean? Stuff like that. They're so worried about what I think about how they look rather than how their tattoo is going to look. And I kind of always try and steer it away. And skin is skin to me, man. Like, it's a canvas. Cool if it's bigger, then if anything for me, that's better.
Yeah.
You get more detail in there. Great. Do you know what I mean? But yeah, no, like I said, the only difference I kind of find with bigger people, I don't know. I don't know. But yeah, like I just find that the confidence when they come in, not with me, with themselves, is like, or when they're getting on the bed, that it's almost like they're worried to get on or stuff like that. Do you know what I mean? It's just, and it's fine. I just try and reassure. And do you know what? A lot of the time, before they leave, they feel and they act a lot more confident in themselves. And I love that. That's my favourite part about tattooing. Because when someone goes to the mirror and maybe it's a body part that they don't like, because, you know, we're all self-conscious about something. And I find it when I get tattooed in a place that I don't particularly like, I feel 1,000 times better after it. And seeing that on someone's face when they go to the mirror is fucking amazing. And I love that feeling, because I think everyone should just deserve to walk around and love the skin they're in.
Yeah, 100%.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So,
it's funny you say about the beds and that. Now, that's always been my only worry, right? So I've been to some shops where, like, some guys listen, you may not be familiar, you may not have had an experience with a tattoo, but I would probably say 80% of shops use massage beds, or what look like massage beds. They may be slightly reinforced massage beds or whatever, but as someone who is sort of like 300 pounds, they could be quite a daunting thing. And like I've done it myself, and I'm not an incredibly self-conscious person, but you kind of sit on the edge and you go, all right, fuck, here we go. And everyone knows a story of someone that sat on one and it's just fucking.
Oh no!
And it's like, do shops take that into consideration? Like, or do they just?
Oh, what, my shop?
I know you. Do.
Yeah.
I know you do. Because you've got like fucking crazy dentist chair mad shit.
Really?
Transformer chair.
We'll go and you'll be like, "What the fuck is this?
Yeah, you have to
like,
come
the
in.
greatest shit ever."
It's like a throne.
Yeah. And it moves to like any position, so you get like you having your back done, like you're like hugging the front of it. It's sick. Anyway, but yeah. So do shops kind of think about that or not?
I would like to think that they do, because obviously we are in kind of like the age where you can just kind of be who you want to be, and people are loving the body that they're in, if like they're bigger or whatnot. But yeah, I'd like to say that they would, but like, as you know, and Bob won't mind me saying this because we all found it hilarious, but the Lookout, like, man, the beds in there, like this is when I was like first starting out, like they were terrifying to sit on, even for like my size, and I'm like, what, like 12 stone, and I was like fucking terrified to sit on one of them, because the moment that you sit on them, it's like, and like I can imagine like how it would feel going in and going to sit down and thinking fuck, and also being scared whilst you're getting tattooed. Like, what happens if that fucking bed goes?
Oh shit!
And you're like in the middle of tattooing. Yeah, so I'd like to think that people are like savvy to that, or at least have like another bed to like make up for, you know, or a stronger one or something like that. Do you know what I mean? That can hold weight, so people aren't worried about it. Do you know what I mean? Because to us it's not anything. Again, it's like skin and your weight, and I don't look at people and think, oh, you know, they're big, oh my god, the tattoo's gonna, do you know what I mean? So you'd think you'd compensate for everyone.
Yeah,
you know?
I've definitely not got tattooed in shops because of that.
I was gonna ask that.
I was literally
Sorry.
Yeah.
No, so I was literally going to say what you were saying, because so yeah, go for it.
Have you ever experienced any of that going into a shop?
Yeah. And like, and just not thinking, nah, this ain't gonna work out. Like it's normally like it's never been a big piece of work that I wanted to go and get done kind of thing. But if you've been places and someone else is getting tattooed or something like that, and you've got anything, oh fuck, maybe I might get something right quick.
Yeah.
I've definitely gone, no. We've been places, and like we were walking down Venice Beach, right, in LA, and I was like, fuck it, I'm gonna go and get a tattoo. And we went into the shop. The shop was, I can't remember what it was, quite a big one. I can't remember the name of it. And I literally walked in and was like, yeah, for a start, what Americans charge for tattoos is criminal.
Is it not expensive like that here?
I mean, I don't want to say it's cheap here, because it's not.
Yeah,
but it's
definitely not like LA prices.
LA prices, like your minimum, you walk in, it's $500. Like, is
that because it's LA, or is it like an actual like famous tattoo shop too, with like a famous?
It might have been. I mean, the only two.
$100.
Yeah, I walked into one on Venice Beach. Asked the guy, and he was just like, "Well, the minimum charge is $500."
No, that's insane.
I looked around and like, you know, I thought about it, and then looked at the beds and was like, "No, this ain't gonna work out." And then I went into one in the Mirage Hotel in Las Vegas, right?
I know that shit's expensive.
Fuck me! I walked in. The shop was amazing, right? And they had no issue with their beds. They looked like they had like massage chairs that they were doing it from. But he was like, "Yeah, bro, we can fit you in today, but minimum's $1,000."
What the fuck?
Like,
well, they like tattooing you with like fucking gold equipment.
Literally, these guys like you'd expect it to be a name that you'd even heard of.
Yeah.
And I was like, nope. These are just random guys. But the thing is, there's people coming in behind me, just going $1,000. Yeah, cool.
Because they don't know. This is the thing. They just don't know. So that's probably why they're charging that, because no one second guessed it. Yeah, and sure.
These guys are in Vegas. Like, you know, you might have, like, if I was a gambler and I'd come up big and won 10 grand, I probably would have gone, yeah, fuck it.
Go for it.
There's $1 grand. I don't care, because it's a memory of your time. I get it, but
I think I'm guilty of getting a overpriced tattoo. I have like a shitty star behind my ear, and I paid $200 for that.
No, you did not.
How big is it? It's so tiny.
That's like a 30-pounder.
I know, and I was drunk. I knew I shouldn't have been in there, to be honest with you.
Oh,
You've
that's
drunk. So
mad.
that's one thing you can't do here. You can't get tattooed drunk over here.
Oh no, it's South Beach. Like
Oh,
everyone's
God.
walking around drunk.
I once had a guy come in and he was getting a Boba Fett tattoo done, and there was a pub. This was like next to the Lookout.
Yeah.
And this was next to the pub next door, and he came in and he was like, "Yeah, I'm here for my tattoo with Leon." And I was like, and he had a fucking tumbler full of whiskey, and he was like, you know, Dutch courage. And he was like, "Can I put it in your fridge?" I was like, no, and you're not getting tattooed either, mate.
Oh
Yeah.
man. Imagine
Some people
that.
have balls though, mate. They just do come in, and you can see them either like across the road, just like swigging them, and it's just like, why? Because that's all I think is why you're just gonna piss blood everywhere now. Like it's just shit.
I don't know why anyone would want to do it.
I don't get it.
I don't get it. But shit. I guess that
But shit.
tattooing culture kind of comes from, like you said, sailing, isn't it? Sailor Jerry.
Yeah.
And 9 times out of 10, they were fucked up.
Yeah. Absolutely. And I mean, yeah.
Each
You
I guess.
just said it. To be fair, you just said it.
So yeah, I mean, so the plus size stuff is interesting. But you know, we have a point written down. I don't know if you want to talk about it a bit, Meeks, go into a bit more. The last one.
Yeah, I follow loads of different pages, and like I said earlier, when I look for like Black people on certain things, I don't see it. And then that's another thing. I mean, the only one I do see, and I don't know if you know Tess Holiday.
Literally, I have it written on my notes. Holiday, because she's the only one I could think of, and I couldn't even find any.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know anyone else really that is promoted on social media like that. That's fully tattooed.
No,
I've even like tried to do another like a deep research on it. Like yesterday, and nothing. Even when you type in the hashtags, absolutely nothing. I think there is like a stereotype though with tattooed models.
When I think of tattoo models, I only think of one. I think of fake boobs.
Yeah.
Don't know why, but that's
fake boobs.
Yeah. Tattooed models, fake boobs.
Yeah. I maybe a pinup girl is what I'm really thinking about.
Yeah.
Kind of like hair, kind of fully tatted. But that's the only kind I see in like magazines or online, or I guess magazines. Do people still own magazines?
Yeah. What's a magazine? What? Newspapers? What?
I think podcasts have taken over magazines, to be fair.
Yeah.
It's like the new magazine, isn't it?
Yeah.
Does Skin Deep still exist? Is that still a magazine? Yeah.
I think it does. It does Skin Deep. I know one of them literally stopped a few months ago, and I can't remember if that was Total Tattoo or Skin Deep. Or it might even be another one. I don't know. There's so fucking many of them out there now.
Yeah.
But it's pretty much you're reading the same magazine each time, to be fair.
Do you think there's going to be, obviously there needs to be an increase in different types of people.
Yeah.
But does the shop you work in maybe, or any shops you know, have you seen people that do show different types of people or art and stuff? There are on different types of people.
I mean, our shop's quite diverse. I mean, we've kind of got clients from everywhere. And to be fair, like a lot in Brighton I see. But yeah, I haven't really seen, like I said, like a lot of like plus size tattoo models, because there is this, I think, stereotype of like the tattooed perfect model now is like the skinny kind of like Sailor Me looking. Do you know what I mean? Like they all have like the same like kind of witchy kind of cute look, and I love it. Like, cool, if you rock it, you rock it. But sorry, my cat is literally just like
Come and say hello.
Come on. This is my curly cat.
Oh.
Yeah, sorry.
For the audio only guys, we'll put a picture of the cat.
Yeah, but no. I definitely think there's a stereotype, but there needs to be more like plus size ones out there. Because I was talking to someone the other day about this, and I won't name any names or whatever, but he's a PT, and I was saying about how like there wasn't really a lot of this floating around, and he was like, yeah, but does it not promote like an unhealthy lifestyle? And I think yes, don't you just want to I literally like rolled my fucking eyes, and I was like, why can't you just let people live their fucking life? And also, big people, it doesn't mean that you're fucking unhealthy. Like Lizzo, Lizzo, she put out a really good thing the other day, basically saying mind your own fucking business. But you look like she doesn't look unhealthy. I don't think bigger people are unhealthy, and I
think
also let
people that are
people
fucking unhealthy as well.
healthy.
Hell yeah.
Exactly. That's literally what I was about to say. Exactly. And I'm so bored of just like, why does it glamorize it? Let's just let people live their fucking lives, man.
Yeah, and
if they're comfortable.
But do you know what I mean? Even if it does glamorize a certain lifestyle, so doesn't going to the gym and being a PT and advertising all that glamorize a certain kind of lifestyle that I don't want to fucking lead, because I don't I'm obsessed with my body and obsessed with what I eat. I don't want that. Like, that's just as toxic to me as me.
It's obsessive, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's an obsessive culture, and I think gym culture. That's another thing we need to talk about, Mix. Gym culture. Write it down, because gym culture can fuck off. You know what I mean? Like, but because you will undoubtedly, Shannon, see these people that come and get tattooed up heavy everywhere just so they can go to the gym or walk like this.
And you know what? They all have the same fucking tattoos. All of them.
Yeah, of course they fucking do.
I literally, as soon as they walk in, I'm like, so it's going to be a lion with a pocket watch, and they're going to want some fucking time in it from when their aunt lived or some shit, or like
fucking Greek statue
or some dumps.
Cloud work or something.
Yeah, the Zeus statue, the one that I literally see over and over. But the lion heads, they're the ones. As soon as they walk in, it's like, I might as well copy and paste your fucking friend's tattoo. Because that's what they want.
Yeah, just they might as well come in and go, can you just do my arm like David Beckham, please?
Yeah, I was literally just about to say David Beckham.
And it's cool.
Yeah.
I love David Beckham for kind of what he did for the acceptability of tattoos in mainstream culture. And that's amazing. But, you know what I mean? I don't know.
Get some originality, man. That's what it is for me. I try and like, I'm usually like, pretty sweet with whatever people kind of want to do. I'll do and kind of put my own spin on it. But there is some cases where you're just like, I've got to look at them and be like, really? You want the same thing as everyone on this Pinterest page is having, because it's all they have.
Do you ever, so this is some like insider info, do you ever say no? Like, if someone comes in and says, I want, like, I know you would say no if you're like, no, I don't do this style. So if someone come in and said, I want a full Japanese back piece, you go, no, that's not me. I don't do that. You put them in the place with someone that does.
Yes,
but if someone come in like with an idea that's in a style that you might do, and sometimes you just go, no.
Do you know what? I don't really. I am pretty much like, if someone wants it, if someone comes in and I don't really like vibe with them, or they kind of give me like a little bit of like attitude and that, then I kind of put on like a little bit of a sternness, almost to be like, don't be rude, because otherwise, I'm not going to do this, because I'm not going to sit with you all day, sort of thing. But no, do you know what? A lot of the time I do the tattoo, but there has been a couple of cases, but the cases that have been like, I've definitely said no, have mostly been racist tattoos, to be fair.
Does that happen a lot?
Jeez.
More than you know. I think more than like, it's a weird one. I had, again, not going to say any names, I've had a couple of cases. Once was in the Lookout when a guy came in with his daughter in a pram. She must have only been about 3. This was quite early in my career, and he came in, he was like, so I want a tattoo right now. And we were like, okay, can do. The only thing is, can't have kids in the shop, under 18, all of that sort of thing. And he was like, right, all right, well, I want a Union Jack on my throat with a black man's head with a bayonet going through it. And I looked at him and I was like I could feel my blood boiling, sort of thing. And I looked at him and I was like, no one's going to do that for you here. And he was like, what? And he leant into my face and went, do you think I'm a fucking racist? And I said, yes, I do. And I feel sorry for your daughter that's sat in that pram that's going to be brought up in this horrible household of just shit. And then Bob came through and was like, yeah, get out my shop. And then Bob blasted him everywhere. But yeah, that was horrible. He was like calling us for like weeks after that, saying that he was going to rob us and stuff like that, because I'd basically said that I wasn't going to tattoo a racist tattoo on him.
Fucking hell.
And another one was actually probably about 5 months ago. And I've been tattooing this bloke for a while. And he was like an older bloke. And, he doesn't really talk a lot. So I just kind of used to just do his tattoos, whatever. And he was like, oh, yeah, no, I want an eagle on my tummy. And I was like, okay, sweet. Like neo-trad style, kind of just like get into it. And he was like, it's a little bit controversial. And I was like, please don't be what I think it's going to be. Please don't be what I was thinking. And honestly, he was like, I'll show you a picture of it. And it was the Iron Eagle. And it was horrific. And he was like, yeah, my son's been begging me not to get it. I was like, no fucking shit. Imagine your parents, pop down the beach one day and your fucking dad's got like... Yeah. And I, again, drew a blank and I just was like, no, I can't have this. And just kind of took myself out in the back room because I was just going to fucking explode. And Joe and I got out the back and was really like, do people genuinely think that, like, I'd do this or that other artists would do this? Because I genuinely think if you were able to do that and live with yourself consciously just because you've got a bit of coin in your pocket for it, like, you should not be doing this.
Yeah.
So, I mean, where do racist people go to get their tattoos? Because I've seen racist people with tattoos. I've seen swastika tattoos and I've seen fucking horrible shit. Like, is there like a hidden database of like racist
There's got to be. There's got to be like some weird part on the fucking dark web for racist tattoos, man. Or I just think that you go into shops like the shitty ones and they just give a shit about the coin going in their pocket. They don't actually care about what's and who's living with it. Look, at the end of the day, like, yeah, we've got to look at it for like a couple of hours while we do a tattoo, but that person really does have to live with it for the rest of their lives. And this is what this big conflict is at the moment. I've been seeing a lot of posts of artists being like, oh, we'll cover up your racist tattoos for free. And like, a part of me is like, well, why? They fucking chose to get it, so they should live with it, And that's just like my horrible, not even my horrible side. That's just like because that's just that side. And then you've got like the other one where it's like, oh, they could have been drunk at a party and now they've got to live with it. But apart, like, even with it all, like,
no one's mind changes that much. I don't think. I don't think if you're old enough to get a swastika slapped on your chest, it's very, very rare that your life's going to change that much that you want to get that covered over for any other reason more than the fact that you don't want the hassle that it brings you.
Yeah.
Your core belief is still there, but you're fed up and not being able to go to Benidorm on holiday and take your top off.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what it is. I don't... Yeah,
there's tattooists out there as well that don't actually, I think, know what they're tattooing sometimes, and then they could put out a piece of art that might mean something else. Like like Ben, my partner. So before I think maybe a month or so before I met him, so this is like 7 years ago, he went in to get, it was like a flash day, and it was like a Grim Reaper, and like you get the like little traditional like executioner hood things, like proper traditional tattoo. And this guy was like, yeah, like, I want to do it a bit trippy. And Ben was kind of like young and naive and was like, yeah, do whatever you want, man. Like, you know what Ben's like. He kind of just fucking goes for it. And after it was done, he looked down and it was red. And he was like, this means something else. And he went into Bob and was like, this tattoo's making me feel weird. Can you just like reiterate to me that I'm going a bit mental and it's just like a Grim Reaper hood that's red? But it turned out it was the like Grandmaster Wizard fucking cake. Yeah. And he had that, and Ben was like, cover this shit up right now. Because, Benny's like the most anti-racist person you could ever meet. So I do think as well, is there a bowl of people out there
uneducated.
that have had, uneducated, and are now walking around with tattoos that mean something completely hateful.
Well, I mean, there's probably people out there with, I hate even using this word, but gollywog tattoos because...
Yeah.
Because back in the day, Robinson's Jam used to have them on their thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So some people are going to.
I don't know what this means. What is this?
You don't know what gollywog is?
No. Should I Google it?
Oh, dude, it was like this. My nan used to have them all in her garden, man. It was like so weird.
It's like I can't even explain what they are. I just know that they're all kinds of fucking.
Oh no, that's fucking horrible.
Yeah.
They're like, yeah. Then there was like books and that all on them as well.
They had their own like children's books and stuff like that.
Mm.
I think there's probably people out there with those tattooed from back in the day because they thought it was a little thing to have, and they don't really understand what they've done. It's anyone listening or watching, please be careful of what you put on your body.
Yes, be responsible, do your research your artist. Just do it properly. That's all I ask, because then otherwise it's down to people like me that have got to cover up shit, and I don't want to do that. So
What a perfect way to end.
yeah.